Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris secures the Democratic Party presidential nomination. And breaking right now, dangerous storms rolling into the Northeast, plus a state of emergency in Florida. First, Vice President Kamala Harris making history. Democratic Party delegates putting her over the top today, making her the first black woman and Asian American to become a major party's candidate for president. Delegates casting their votes during a virtual convention, Harris unopposed. She will officially accept the nomination next week when she's also expected to introduce her running mate, who she's meeting with this weekend. Selina Wang with new reporting. Also tonight at this hour, dangerous storms on the move in the Northeast. A severe thunderstorm watch in Philadelphia. A new tropical threat developing in the Southeast. Tropical storm watches and warnings now posted along the Florida coast. More than 150 million Americans under heat alerts from California to New York. Our weather team timing it all out. 24 hours after that historic prisoner exchange, 3 freed Americans released from Russia now back on U.S. soil. Their emotional homecoming, greeted by family and President Biden, now being evaluated at a military base in San Antonio. And the freed Wall Street Journal reporters' stunning final request before leaving Russia. The Middle East on high alert over Iran's promise of revenge for the assassination of a top Hamas leader in Tehran. His funeral held today. The Pentagon revealing the U.S. is deploying more military assets, including fighter jets and destroyers, to the region. Here in the U.S. tonight, the stock market taking a major hit, a disappointing jobs report sending the Dow plunging. Tragedy at the Grand Canyon, a base jumper falling 500 feet to his death. Justin Timberlake pleading not guilty to alleged driving while intoxicated in the Hamptons. What the judge did today. And Team USA raking in the medals at the Summer Games in Paris. The world's fastest woman, Sha'Carri Richardson, making her long-awaited Olympic debut.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us on this Friday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. And we begin tonight with a historic day in the race for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris cementing herself as the Democratic Party's presidential nominee, the first black woman and Asian American to top a major party ticket. Vice President Harris nominated during a virtual convention, delegates voting online, putting her over the top. The party deciding not to wait until the Democratic National Convention in Chicago later this month. Harris is also the first presidential candidate in more than 50 years to secure her party's nomination without a single primary vote. The typical process upended when President Biden dropped out of the race less than 2 weeks ago. Since then, her campaign taking in $310 million, more than doubling the Trump campaign. And now the search for a running mate enters its final stage. Sources telling ABC News Vice President Harris could meet with some contenders this weekend. And an announcement just days away. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selina Wang leads us off.
Tonight, Kamala Harris making history. The vice president securing enough votes to clinch the Democratic nomination for president. The first black woman, the first Asian American to be at the top of a major party ticket.
I am honored to be the presumptive Democratic nominee for president of the United States.
Harris calling into the Democrats' virtual roll call to celebrate the moment.
You know, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to get this done. And as your future president, I know we are up to this fight. And when we fight, everyone will say in unison, we win.
It's been a remarkable 2 weeks for Harris. Just 12 days ago, President Biden announcing he would no longer seek re-election, throwing his weight behind Harris, his vice president, to succeed him. Now she's the nominee without receiving any primary votes, something that hasn't happened in a half century. With just 94 days until the election, our 538 polling average shows a very tight race. Harris up 1.5 points over Donald Trump nationally, shrinking the margins in crucial swing states. Harris now with a slight edge over Trump in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. And now, Harris's most pressing decision, who she'll pick as a running mate. The announcement expected any day. President Biden in on the decision.
Have you spoken to Vice President Harris about her running mate?
Yes.
Those who've been thoroughly vetted for the ticket include Arizona Senator and retired astronaut Mark Kelly, the husband of Gabby Giffords, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, retired schoolteacher and former congressman, and popular Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, like Harris, a former prosecutor. Shapiro, who is set to headline fundraisers for Harris in New York, clearing his weekend schedule.
Governor, do you expect Kamala Harris to ask you to run if there's success here? So.
I think that's a question for the Vice President.
Governor, are you planning on meeting with Vice President Harris this weekend?
I think any process questions like that should go directly to the Harris campaign.
Governor, you said the last time you spoke to Vice President Harris was last Sunday. Is that still true?
It is.
If you're not going to the Hamptons this weekend, what are you doing instead?
Let me tell you what I'm doing. Go ahead.
Are you planning on being in Philadelphia on Tuesday by chance?
I hope to be, yeah.
Certainly fielding plenty of questions there. Selina Wang joining us now from the White House. And Selina, Vice President Harris has said she will officially accept the Democratic nomination on Monday when this virtual roll call concludes. And you're learning more now about how she could make that big decision on a running mate.
And Whit, this is one of the most critical decisions of her political career, a process that normally takes months, but she only has days. Sources tell me that this weekend she has some in-person meetings with some of those top contenders here in D.C., including with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. And from there, she is wasting no time. She's hitting 7 battleground states in just 5 days with her new running mate, starting on Tuesday with Pennsylvania. Whit.
All right, Selina, thank you. Also developing tonight, the dangerous weather threats at this hour. We're tracking new thunderstorms moving into the Northeast. Florida also bracing for a tropical threat this weekend, a state of emergency in effect. And more than 150 million people under heat alerts from California to Florida to New York. Let's get right to meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our New York station, WABC. And Lee, there are severe weather watches in effect right now.
With the suffocating air here in the northeast is sparking storms. A severe thunderstorm watch includes Philadelphia, much of southern New Jersey, and also down to the Del Mar. Downpours, damaging winds a possibility through 9 o'clock tonight. Well, the heat is the reason for this, and it really swarms the entire country. In fact, it'll feel like 109 in New Orleans tomorrow. Remember, that heat goes into Florida, where they're preparing for a tropical system. Now, this low right now is working over Cuba, likely a depression tomorrow. A tropical storm tomorrow night named Debbie parallels the coast. Storm surges, heavy rain, maybe a landfall in the Big Bend by the end of the weekend, and then flooding rains to the southeast. You can see some of the worst of that could be over Sunday morning on the west coast of Florida. Rainfall totals could be over a half foot there, and that would extend into the southeast U.S. too, especially if the storm gets trapped. It could be more than a half foot of rain. Whit.
An active few days ahead. Lee Goldberg, thank you. We move on now to the historic prisoner exchange and the emotional homecoming for 3 Americans wrongfully detained in Russia. All 3 now at Joint Base San Antonio for physical and mental health exams. Retired Marine Paul Whelan saying he's glad to be home and he's never going back. ABC's Mireya Villarreal in San Antonio tonight.
Tonight, the 3 Americans wrongfully detained by Russia in San Antonio, Texas, grateful to be back on American soil.
I'm glad I'm home. Yeah. I'm never going back there again.
The military explaining what's next for them at Brooke Army Medical Center.
We'll spend some time here at Joint Base San Antonio, really doing some medical checks, make sure everything's good.
There will be physical checkups, mental health support, and the time needed to decompress. It comes after the largest, most complicated prisoner swap since the Cold War.
Joe Biden. Hi, Mr. President.
Once the Americans were safely on their way home, the president connecting them with their families.
I miss you so much. We're in the Oval Office.
Then, just before midnight, the emotional homecoming at Joint Base Andrews. Paul Whelan, who had spent nearly 6 years in a Russian prison, finally back in the U.S. President Biden giving Whelan the American flag pin from his own jacket. Journalist Alsu Kurmasheva running to embrace her family, reunited on her daughter's 13th birthday. And Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich hugging his mother and lifting her off the ground.
What about the show of support?
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Gerskovich was falsely accused of spying in a sham trial. The Wall Street Journal revealing before he was freed, the young reporter boldly requested an interview with Vladimir Putin, the man behind his imprisonment. At least a dozen Americans remain jailed in Russia, including Mark Fogel, a teacher serving 14 years for possession of marijuana that had been prescribed by an American doctor. His 95-year-old mother shocked that Mark didn't come home.
I thought when they were releasing that many prisoners, one of them would surely be Mark. But it wasn't.
Today, President Biden saying he is determined to keep working on Fogel's case.
We're not giving up. We're not giving up on that.
The families also traveled here to San Antonio and are stayed at hotels near Brooke Army Medical Center, the facility you see right behind me. That way they can visit their loved ones whenever they want, and also so they can participate in some of the therapy that these former prisoners are going to go through in that reintegration process. Whit?
An emotional 24 hours for those families. Mireya, thank you. There is late-breaking news to report tonight, and for details on what is a developing story, we go to ABC's Juju Chang.
Whit, in a stunning turn tonight, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has revoked the controversial plea deal for the alleged 9/11 mastermind and 2 accomplices. That deal, reached earlier this week, would have allowed Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the 2 others to avoid the death penalty in return for pleading guilty for the murders of nearly 3,000 people in the attacks on September 11th. Austin took over the responsibility for the case and wrote in a memo, quote, "Responsibility for such a decision should rest with me," and said effective immediately he's withdrawing the 3 plea deals approved Wednesday. Some families of the victims had expressed outrage that the suspects would not receive the death penalty. Once again, Whit, Defense Secretary Austin revoking that plea deal. Whit?
Juju, thank you. News tonight about the U.S. economy and a sharp drop in the stock market fueled by lower than expected jobs numbers and now growing concerns the Fed may have waited too long to lower interest rates. The Dow plunging 610 points today. At one point, it was down more than 900. Let's get right to ABC's chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis. Rebecca, walk us through what happened today.
With that disappointing jobs report put talk of recession back on the table on Wall Street. Employers added just 114,000 jobs in July, well below the 185,000 forecast. The unemployment rate increased to 4.3%, which is still low, but it shows joblessness has jumped more than 0.5% since January, something that just doesn't happen in a healthy economy and historically a sign a recession is imminent. On Wall Street, the selling was broad-based, but the tech names, some of those high flyers earlier this year, were some of the hardest hit today. And you put it all together, and it is a signal the Fed is likely to cut, perhaps even aggressively, come September. Whit?
All eyes on that Fed decision. All right, Rebecca, thank you. Overseas now to the Middle East on high alert as Iran vows revenge for the assassination of a top Hamas leader in Tehran. The Biden administration promising additional military assets to help defend Israel, while the president is also trying to de-escalate tensions in the region. ABC's Matt Rivers in Tel Aviv tonight.
Tonight, the Biden administration bracing for a potential escalation in the Middle East. The Pentagon announcing it will deploy additional U.S. cruisers, destroyers, and fighter jets to protect Israel.
The secretary will be directing multiple forthcoming force posture moves to bolster force protection.
It comes as Iran and its allies promise to retaliate following the assassination of top Hamas political official Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. In April, Iran coordinated an unprecedented direct attack against Israel in response to a deadly strike on the Iranian consulate in Syria. The U.S. and its allies helping intercept nearly all of the more than 300 missiles and drones targeting Israel. Amid concerns of another Iranian retaliation, today Haniyeh's funeral prayers taking place in Doha. Sources say Haniyeh was killed by an explosive smuggled into his room at an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps guest house. The device stashed inside roughly 2 months ago as part of an Israeli plot, as first reported by the New York Times. The assassination threatening to upend ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas. President Biden saying he fears the violence could escalate.
Is the chance for a ceasefire ruined after the assassination of Haniyeh?
It's not helped.
And with the Pentagon not providing any specific timelines for when those additional military assets will be put in place. Meanwhile, across Israel tonight, authorities urging people to stay close to their safe rooms and have a couple days provisions on hand in case of power outages. Whit?
Matt Rivers, thank you. Tonight, the head of the Secret Service holding a rare press conference after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Ronald Rowe saying while local police were trying to find the suspect, the Secret Service had no idea the shooter was on the roof or that he had a gun. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, the Secret Service acknowledging that their agents could not hear radio traffic in the moments as local police desperately tried to find the men who would soon attempt to assassinate former President Trump.
There was really a big sense of urgency going on, and the state and locals were doing everything they possibly could to try to find the assailant.
In fact, the Secret Service had no personnel in a key command post where the radio traffic about shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks was being listened to.
There was clearly radio transmissions that may have happened on that local radio net that we did not have.
Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe holding a rare press conference today. And while he continued to express concerns that local police may have had a vantage point to clearly see the shooter on the roof with a rifle, he again laid the blame for the overall failures squarely at the feet of his agency.
In no way should any state or local agency supporting us in Butler on July 13th be held responsible for a Secret Service failure.
And with this blunt assessment, as we approach the Democratic National Convention, the director warning that we're in a, quote, unprecedented threat environment. Whit?
Pierre Thomas in Washington, thank you. Now to Team USA grabbing more medals at the Summer Games in Paris. Attention turning to track and field and the world's fastest woman, Sha'Carri Richardson, finally making her Olympic debut. Here's ABC's Maggie Rulli in Paris.
Tonight, Team USA leading the medal count. Regan Smith winning silver in the 200-meter backstroke. But the game's home country, France, not far behind. Breakout star Léon Marchand winning his 4th gold medal in Paris, bringing President Emmanuel Macron to his feet during the 200-meter individual medley.
And his breaststroke is magnificent.
Some calling him the next Michael Phelps, already shattering some of his records. And heartbreak for Team USA's Caleb Dressel, knocked out of contention in his 2 best races. Track and field just firing up. Grant Fisher winning bronze in the 10,000-meter final. And the fastest woman in the world, Sha'Carri Richardson, easily sailing through her first heat. The 24-year-old making her Olympic debut after missing Tokyo when she tested positive for THC. And 2-time Olympian Noah Lyles seeking to become the world's fastest man.
Well, you talk about that title. I mean, so many people say, is this it? Is this the next Usain Bolt?
Never.
Never.
I'm the first and only Noah Lyles.
And with this weekend is also looking strong for Team USA in gymnastics and swimming, where both Simone Biles and Katie Ledecky are looking to add even more gold medals to their already historic games. Whit?
It'll be something to watch. Maggie Rulli, thanks so much. When we come back, the search for answers after a base jumper plunges 500 feet to his death in the Grand Canyon. And Justin Timberlake in court today in New York, the judge's warning to his attorney. Next tonight, authorities investigating a deadly fall at the Grand Canyon. Park rangers say a base jumper fell to his death, plunging 500 feet from the rim. Rangers recovering his body today. His parachute had deployed. It's the second deadly fall at the Grand Canyon this week. The Justice Department is suing TikTok and its parent company ByteDance over allegations of child privacy violations. The DOJ claims the company illegally collected the data of millions of children under the age of 13 and allowed them to create accounts without their parents' permission. This just days after the DOJ, in a separate case, called the company a threat to national security. When we come back, Justin Timberlake appearing in court for a DWI charge and what the judge did today. To the index now, one of the multiple fires raging across Colorado is now being investigated as arson. The quarry fire in Jefferson County, southwest of Denver. Investigators say they found suspicious evidence where the blaze first started. And that massive wildfire in Northern California, the Park Fire, is now the 4th largest in the state's history, scorching more than 397,000 acres. At least 542 structures have been destroyed. And Justin Timberlake pleaded not guilty to a DWI charge. The singer, currently on a world tour, appeared virtually for the hearing in the Hamptons. The judge suspended his driver's license and reprimanded his attorney for irresponsible comments. He also threatened to issue a gag order if the comments continued. Still ahead, the history made at the Olympics and the new world record. Before we go, Team USA making history at the Olympics. The mixed 4x400 meter relay team setting a new world record. The team all smiles. Needless to say, they qualified for the finals tomorrow. History made in fencing, too. 21-year-old Lauren Scruggs becoming the first Black American woman to win an individual Olympic fencing medal. She also helped Team USA clinch its first ever gold in the women's fencing team foil competition. She tells ABC News, quote, "I think my success in fencing has helped break stereotypes about what Black people can do and who can be a fencer." Team USA also winning its first rowing gold medal in the men's 4 class since 1960. Justin Best on the podium, emotional, telling ABC News it was a dream accomplished. "I'm so proud to represent the United States." And congratulations to all of our athletes making us proud. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.